Michael Anthony reports that Journey sought to remove Van Halen off their tour every week when the bands were on the road in 1978. During a recent interview with SiriusXM's Eddie Trunk, Anthony reflected on his favorite Van Halen tours, mentioning that the 1978 tour was particularly memorable. "We were just freaking fired up so much that first tour in '78 with Dave Lee Roth," the bassist remembered, referring to it as a tour he'll never forget. At the time, Journey was the headliner, with Montrose coming in second. Van Halen, who had released their self-titled debut album in February, were the opening act. Despite their early billing, the swiftly growing rock artists frequently whipped fans into a frenzy, much to the dismay of the headliners who had to follow them. "They were trying to kick us off the tour every week on that one," Anthony recounted. "However, we were selling tickets. The record label insisted, 'No, you can't kick them off the tour.'" In a 2020 interview, former Journey vocalist Steve Perry reflected on the same 1978 tour with Van Halen. "Now, you've got to remember that Eddie Van Halen and the group were on their first tour with Journey, and we brought them out to open at the 3,000-seaters we were doing at that time," Perry told the audience. "They cleaned our clock several times and woke us up very quickly. They were so focused and on fire that they were simply relentless. That was the most musical relentlessness I'd ever witnessed." In a separate chat, Journey guitarist Neil Shawn mentioned the tour's harsh attitude. "It was a competitive guitar bill," Shawn acknowledged. "And all I can tell you is that Eddie was red hot at the moment, but I was jamming hard, as was Ronnie Montrose, and we were all jamming hard, you know? We were holding our own, but I'm glad I wasn't going after Van Halen at the time. That's all I can say." Infinity, the final Journey album to feature Dunbar, eventually sold 3 million copies in the United States, delivering 2 radio hits in Lights and Wheel in the Sky. Smith's first stint with Journey lasted until the early sessions for 1986's Raised on Radio, Journey's comeback album following Perry's mid-'80s solo triumph. Perry's 2018 album Traces marked his return to solo music after a couple of decades away, but a planned tour fell through. Instead, he published a stripped-down version of the record with compositions he had originally planned for events that never transpired. When asked why, Perry replies, "It's a long story.